In this video, we will look how to install and use Cloud Manager DarkSide Cloud Backup Service. Now, what is Cloud Manager DarkSide version? Cloud Manager DarkSide is a deployment method used by highly secured organizations who have zero external network access. This includes government, military, intelligence, and other highly regulated financial institutions. For many organizations, there is imperative to keep data protected with the highest level of security standards. Simply backing up to the public cloud is not an option. Cloud Backup Service is now supported with Cloud Manager DarkSide, which comes as a self-managed or software-only mode. The chief feature of the software-only option is that it does not need any outbound internet connectivity to backup data, and makes it ideal for customers who would like to manage their data backups in the private cloud. So what are the prerequisites for installing Cloud Manager DarkSide with Cloud Backup Service? We need to have a dedicated Linux host with a minimum of 4 CPUs and 16 GB RAM. Make sure to use a supported OS, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7.6 to 7.9 or 8.0 and above. You would need to install Docker Engine version 19 and above, and a StorageGRID setup with fully qualified domain name, access key, and secret key. How do I install Cloud Manager DarkSide with Cloud Backup Service? First, make sure that Docker is installed and running. Download the build from NetApp support site. Set the required execute permissions on the build. And finally, run the installer. Let's look at a quick demo to see how to install Cloud Manager DarkSide with Cloud Backup Service. Once all the prerequisites are met, let's go ahead and deploy the build. Once you deploy the build, it will start verifying for the root permission, disk space, memory, and the Docker versions. And it starts loading the Docker images. Once the Docker images are loaded, it will go ahead and extract the installation file and start the required services. Once the installation is completed successfully, it will show the OCCM health as OK. Now let's understand how to enable and use Cloud Backup Service on Cloud Manager DarkSide installation. To log into the Cloud Manager UI, open a web browser and enter the IP address of the Linux host. Click on Setup New Cloud Manager. This will take you to a system details page. Give in the Cloud Manager name and the company name and click on Continue. Let's create an admin user. Give in the full name, the email address, and the password. Then click Continue. Review the details and click on Setup. After the admin user is set up, it will bring you back to the login page. Give in the email address and the password of the admin user that has been created and press Login. Now it will show you the screen to go ahead and add your first working environment. Click on Add Working Environment, choose the option for On-Premise, and then again choose On-Premise ONTAP and click on Next. Given the cluster management IP address of the ONTAP cluster, the username and the password and click on Add. It will discover the on-premise ONTAP cluster and add it as a working environment in Cloud Manager. When you click on this particular working environment, it will list all the services that can be enabled for this working environment. To enable Cloud Backup Service, click on Enable on the Backup and Compliance tab. Next, we have to select the provider. Since we are backing up the data into on-premise, let's click on StorageGRID. Now we have to give in the StorageGRID server details. Give in the fully qualified domain name and the respective port, the access key and the secret key, and click on Next. Next, let's create the backup policy, choose the appropriate schedules required and the number of copies that need to be retained and click on Next. Choose the volumes that need to be backed up, and if you want to automatically back up the volumes in the future, click on the checkbox below and click on Activate Backup. Once the process is complete, Cloud Backup Service will be successfully activated on the working environment and the required volumes will be backed up. All the selected volumes will be backed up as per the backup policy schedules. The backup workflow and the restore workflow remain same as the normal Cloud Manager application. Please note that in dark site installations, single file restores are not currently supported.